The YouTube Destiny community, on the other hand, not having a great week, including Bungie themselves, as they were hit with numerous copyright takedown notices coming from fake Google accounts. Stop me if you've heard that one before. They targeted everything from soundtrack videos, cutscenes, and, as mentioned, some of Bungie's own videos, which is a bold move if you're going to do false copyright claims, going after the company themselves that would actually hold copyright. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them. Well, what happened? Well, obviously, immediately, Bungie now went out and said, okay, it's not us, because content creators' original knee-jerk reaction, as you would imagine, was, oh shit, Bungie is starting to tighten up on what you can and cannot post online, whether it be something that has the soundtrack in it or whatever else. But Bungie came out and said, no, guys, it ain't us. There's something else, and we'll have more updates for you when we find out more of what's going on. And when they did, they came back and they said, okay, it's time to get litigious. We're feeling litigious today. Time to open up a court case. And so they did against what they listed as 10 John Does, which they are now in the process of subpoenaing information on so that they can move forward with the case. So this is essentially, Bungie is now going to, I don't know if it would be YouTube and then an internet service providers or anything like that to backtrack who is creating these accounts, when, where, find out who they are, and they would need to subpoena that kind of information to be able to acquire it and then move forward with the case. So they're in the middle of that, apparently. They also, though, and this was what was interesting and what got a lot of content creators attention, just from the fact that nobody else has previously, in terms of a major company, backed the content creators on this. They also point out in their court case specifically, they call out YouTube in the court case, criticizing them for their system being easily gamed. That's a direct quote. They're calling it easily gamed and difficult to resolve issues. Cataloging their own in the process, they listed what the process was like for them as Bungie, the developer, who obviously has direct ties to much higher up support structures in YouTube than, even large content creators might. So they cataloged that and their own struggle to get their to get attention, because they were just getting about a bunch of out of office vacation email returns and voicemails and everything else, and it was a struggle for them to even get the attention of somebody as their own channel was getting hit by these false copyright claims. And they also listed that as a point that high-profile content creators on the platform now have strikes on their channels, because these were handed out as strikes. These weren't like, oh, we're going to just take the monetization from your video. They were legitimately handed out as strikes, and so some of these channels were having strikes on their channels out of fraudulent claims. So Bungie, as far as I can remember, or as far as I know, is the first major company to actually call out YouTube on their system, which everyone knows is, as we've seen 1,000 times, and we've reported on several different incidences here on the podcast for various content creators and various genres on the platform, it's easily gamed, and it's easily weaponized, and it's weaponized a lot. And the system on YouTube is quite literally, you're guilty until proven innocent. And the problem is that it takes 3 clicks to prove somebody guilty, and it takes a hell of a lot more than 3 clicks, and in some instances up to like 2 to 3 months to resolve on the other end of proving your innocence for some of these cases in these videos. And that's just very silly. So I was I was mildly impressed and more so hopeful that more companies in the future will also, if they get in these situations, call out YouTube on their shit, and maybe the system will be improved in some way, shape, or form. Probably not, but a man can dream, Mr. Black. A man can hold out for something in life, something positive, something light. I know back in the day on one of my channels I had a video, it wasn't a strike, but it was a copyright claim, and it literally took 2 months.
Yep.
All the revenue gone, and then they just come back and be like, oh, okay, yeah, we cleared it. And it's like 2 or 3 months later, and you're like, oh, thank you. Now that I'm getting like 2 views a day, I appreciate that. Shout out. So, and the craziest part is, the fraudulent claims still collect all that money and get paid out by Google, and you never see that money. So even if you prove that you were actually in the clear and it's not theirs to begin with, you never see the money that you lost from them claiming it. So it's like it's a lose-lose for the content creator. There's no upside ever other than like keeping your account in good standing and having strikes removed. There's no upside. So it's just an absolutely insane deal. And yes, as Fox is mentioning here in chat, it's not a small suit either. They're going at $150,000 for each false claim in damages, which is the total, I guess, is somewhere in the neighborhood of $6,150,000.
They ain't getting a thing.
Probably not. Probably not.
Definitely not.
Unfortunately.
They're scared. They're trying to scare people.
Yeah.